You see, as a Ghanaian, the only reason why I feel so sad if Nigeria does not qualify for the upcoming World Cup is because of one man, Victor Osimhen. Look, that guy's passion and commitment for his country when it comes to national team football is unmatched. Because if you've watched him, anytime that he steps foot on the field, you can see he wants to do everything humanly possible to see his country go through. And a classic example is what we just witnessed in today's game against Benin. He scored 3 goals. At a point, he was even injured and he was still forcing himself to play till the time that the coach saw he can continue no more, and then he changed him. Regardless, throughout his international campaign, with 24 goals scored for the Nigerian national team, every game that I have watched him playing, I've seen him giving out his all in all those matches. For somebody that watched him live at the Bavarian Sports Stadium in the last World Cup campaign when Ghana played against Nigeria, and even the return leg, could see how passionate, how forceful, and how visible he was, doing everything possible to make sure Nigeria will be able to qualify. But unfortunately, they couldn't. Again, during the African Cup of Nations in Cote d'Ivoire, he pushed his country all the way to the final. Look at his effort and all the things that he showed during that time. With this very World Cup campaign, Nigeria has not done enough, and that is why they find themselves here. But with Osimhen, you can see that he wants to do everything humanly possible to get Nigeria to the World Cup. I'm a Ghanaian, and even though we've qualified to the World Cup and we don't want to see Nigerians also qualifying because of social media banter and trolls and so forth, my perspective when it comes to the World Cup is completely different from a lot of people. Why? Because I want to see the African country, this time around that we are represented with about 9 countries at the next World Cup. I want to see Africa doing so well, because even with the recent performance of Morocco being able to get to the semi-finals, now I can see Africans are competitors now. We can compete and challenge for the World Cup title as well. So I want to see Nigeria, because Nigeria is one of the countries that, yes, they may struggle during qualification, but at the tournament, you cannot tell me South Africa will even perform when they get to the World Cup. So I want to see the big names, the big countries there, so that they can even fight and push to the farthest. Again, even with South Africa qualifying automatically, the last time South Africa hosted the World Cup at home, they couldn't even make it out from the group stage. And again, this is South Africa that are not used to be known at the World Cup, because they don't even qualify all the time. So what are they actually going to do there? Regardless, they've qualified, credits to them. But I would have wished if it is Nigeria instead. Yes, Nigeria are not completely out, because with this very results, 4-0 against Benin means that Nigeria will be going through as the best performing teams at the second place that will be playing the playoffs in November, to see who will emerge and then go and face the other continents to fight a long way to get back to the World Cup. So it's a long way now for Nigeria, but they are not out. Again, Victor Osimhen, personally, I want to see him at the World Cup, because for a player in the caliber of Osimhen, as we know, has never played the World Cup before, has never been to the World Cup before. So as the world wants to see Erling Haaland playing at the World Cup because he's a top striker, as an African, I want to see Africa's top striker in Osimhen also playing at the World Cup, because he's been performing when it comes to club football for Napoli to all the other teams. Talk of what he's doing with Galatasaray currently. So I want to see Osimhen, Ademola Lookman and the likes playing at the World Cup. And that is the bigger picture. But regardless, I think Nigerians have themselves to be blamed, because when it mattered most, they showed they can score Benin by 4-0. So what happened during the previous game that Nigeria were not able to beat Zimbabwe, that plays last? Nigeria lost against Benin in the first leg. Nigeria couldn't defeat South Africa. They drew both home and away. So they got themselves to be blamed at this very point. But it is always better late than never.